Hey there gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and today we're talking about the Nintendo Switch 2 because it's apparently being revealed in literally days, not weeks, not months. Apparently, the Nintendo Switch 2 is about to be shown, finally, for the first time, including release date, possibly. But let's talk about this new leak because people seem to be very excited but a bit confused by it. Hi, hope you're having a great day, and if you could please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. By the way, if you haven't watched it, I just put up a review for Dynasty Warriors Origins. That game is surprisingly fantastic, so even if you don't like Dynasty Warriors, maybe go watch that video. But let's start things off. So this is by the very reputable leaker of Nate the Hate. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Nate the Hate. I've known him for almost a decade. I've done hundreds of podcasts, but he does his own show called the Nate the Hate Podcast. And he said that apparently, literally on Thursday, January 16th, they're going to reveal the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, the part of it that people are kind of debating, that I want to show you some hot takes about it, but apparently this is purely going to be about the system. Not the games, not the graphics, not the screen. It is literally just, here is the system. Now, let me take a look at his exact wording to start with. I've heard the reveal itself is going to focus almost exclusively on the console itself. It's not going to have the presence of games. They could have something shown on the screen, but at this point, it sounds like it's not about a software focus. Now, other people are chiming in on this. A bunch of people from VGC are confirming this timeline. I've even seen stuff like Tom Warren basically saying, yes, we have also heard it is this week. But the part of this that is a bit strange is that usually with a lot of Nintendo reveals, they do focus on how it works. Typically, there's like some sort of Nintendo gimmick. Like, I feel like we forget this now because it's been out for 7 years and it's sold over 100 million units. But when the Nintendo Switch was first being leaked, when it was first being talked about, people were trying to figure out how it would work. Because the idea of, honestly, this connected screen, a portable full-blown console experience, there was some explaining to do. But according to these leaks, according to the screenshots, according to stuff that's been coming out, the Nintendo Switch 2, for the most part, from the screenshots and stuff that seem to be going around of what the model's actually going to look like, this is just an upgraded Nintendo Switch. So the idea of doing a solo reveal for the system itself, it seems a bit strange not to reveal at least some games with it, or at least show some stuff like Tears of the Kingdom running at 60 FPS, but people are talking about the fact that this isn't that different than what other companies have done. In fact, somebody pointed out something here that I completely forgot about, which is that when they revealed the PlayStation 4, Mark Cerny just said, hey, here's the PlayStation 4, and it was just a console. It didn't have anything with it, didn't show the box, didn't show it, just, hey, here is the console, and here's some specs about how good the graphics are going to be. Nintendo doesn't play like that. Nintendo isn't typically the people that come out and say, oh, it's got 18 terabytes of RAM or whatever. They're kind of the people that just say, hey, here's a toy. And I'm not meaning that in a demeaning sense, but a lot of times they're like, okay, here's how it plays. I mean, remember the Nintendo Switch reveal when they had a guy sit on a couch for 1 second and go, look how relaxing this is. And then people came in and carried the couch away. I think the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal is going to be like that. But let me actually take a look more at these hot takes. Waiting until February or March to show off games is insane. Yeah, because there is talks that they're not going to actually show games running on it until late February or early March. And there's talks about the fact that the release date is going to be like May or June. This is a very different style of rollout. There's just not a lot of people typically drop a new console around summertime, but this is also Nintendo. I feel like the craziest part about the Nintendo Switch going into Nintendo Switch 2 is that the Nintendo Switch is just the biggest thing ever, right? I mean, the Nintendo Switch is just mega gigantic. So people have a back catalog of games. People already have a knowledge of how it's going to work. Nintendo has a very separate style of fan base. I was actually talking to a friend last night, Foxden. You may see that guy. He's in the comments a lot. He's in the streams a lot. Extremely nice dude. he is losing his mind excited for the Nintendo Switch 2, and he and I were talking about what we want to see it. And I said, I hope the Nintendo Switch 2 has an OLED screen because I love the OLED screen so much. He said it's probably not going to have that, but he did say if they reveal something like the Final Fantasy VII Remake running on a handheld, dude, the internet is going to explode. I am going to explode. But let's take a look at some more sort of thoughts about this. Not showing any games and crazy. Isn't that the whole point? Especially for a console that's supposed to be a huge step up. Wouldn't it make sense to show a PS4 game running on it? Regardless, we're thinking it's going to pre-order go live. No. So I definitely think you're not going to be pre-ordering this thing for months and months from now. But this is a good point. There have been multiple pretty reliable sources now that have apparently claimed that the Nintendo Switch 2 is roughly the power of a PlayStation 4. And sometimes people kind of poo-poo that. They say, oh, that's not strong enough. Oh, I've waited 7 years for an upgrade, and it's barely as strong as last-gen tech. Well, my thing is the fact that that's still crazy. Look, man, I like my PlayStation 5. The graphics of the PlayStation 5 are not that ginormous of a leap over the PlayStation 4. I love Spider-Man 2018. I love the God of War reboot and stuff like that. Those games look good. They play good. They are good. That amount of polish, that amount of graphical power on a handheld. Look, I can't get over the fact that the Nintendo Switch 2, even if it is just a beefier Nintendo Switch, I'm 100% down for it. This to me is cool. Yeah, maybe it could be more experimental. Yeah, it's not as dangerous or evocative or crazy as previous Nintendo systems have been, but this to me still sounds incredibly cool. I did see somebody say, there was actually a lot of discourse about the fact that they don't like that Nintendo is playing it safe, but at this point, I think Nintendo has started something. They have started a fire, and they continue to stoke it. This is the beginning of the handheld wars, where it does sound like, according to a bunch of leaks, Xbox is pretty much confirmed they're making some sort of dedicated Xbox handheld. There's been multiple leaks about the fact that Sony is kind of scrambling. They're trying to figure out their own dedicated handheld, and the Nintendo Switch 2 being roughly the power of a PlayStation 4, I think things are about to change a bit. I think that now that we're all working more, a lot of us have kids and stuff like that, it's the kind of thing where it's nice to be able to play stuff that isn't on a big screen, that I can just play anywhere, anytime, on the exercise bike, while I'm sitting on the couch with the bros. I think the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be massive. But I gotta admit, I am dying to see it. I want to see what it looks like. Hopefully, it's a bit different, just for the surprise factor. But I guess we'll know on Thursday. Thanks so much for watching, gamers. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. Also, go watch my Dynasty Warriors video. It was so fun to make. It was so fun to beat that game, and it was really fun to edit the video, to be honest with you. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.